welcome back, everybody. We're sitting down with President Ferguson. President, how are you?
Good, Tim. How are you doing, Madeline? How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Great.
I'm doing quite well.
Thank you.
Now, you have a record for transforming universities in an academic way. And this freshman class is coming in with the highest GPA that has ever been here. So what are you going to do to make Ball State more reputable?
Oh, it's a great question. Great question. Well, it's kind of interesting. I was at the Hall of Fame dinner the other day for the Miller College of Business, and I actually made some opening comments that said, I'm really proud that we have the best class in the history of Ball State University, and the entire audience was alumni. So that, wait a minute.
That caused a little tension.
So I said,
right
wait
there.
a minute now. I think that every class of Ball State University is the best class of Ball State University. I think making the institution more reputable is just continuing to share the story with more and more people, not only of the great students that we have, but the great alumni that we have, because we really are transforming these wonderfully entrepreneurial learners to leaders. Mm-hmm. That's where we're looking.
That's my class, by the way.
Absolutely.
I'm the
My
freshman
centennial class. That's right.
So where do you see us in 10 years? Not us, not me and you, the university.
Well,
although you could
you'll
do
be
that
graduated and Madeline will be out in 4 years. That's the goal we're looking for. You know, Ball State has such an incredible reputation right now as being so student-centered and community engaged. We really want to take our position nationally amongst the public research universities that we are peers with. I think the more we can talk about how well our students are doing, not only on campus through immersive learning and experiential learning, but also where they're going afterwards. We have an incredible record of where our students are going, and we want to tell that story better. But in addition, I think where Ball State University is so good is how we manage this institution. It's managed well. It's a great physical plant. It's a great, wonderful place in Muncie, Indiana. And so I think we will be better known in 10 years, and I think our signature programs will be far better known.
Mm-hmm.
You have been to many different universities, whether it was as a student or a faculty member. You have your BA in biology from Whittier College, and then you also have a PhD in pharmacology and toxicology from the University of California. Mm-hmm. So it looks to me like being president of a university wasn't necessarily the original plan. What were you planning to do once you were done with college?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I really was planning to pursue a career as a professor and become a professor of toxicology and do research and teaching. And so my career path for a good significant amount of time was teaching and research and public outreach as a toxicology professor. So helping people understand what are the risks of chemicals in our world and what the risks are and how to reduce those risks. And so I had a wonderful experience with undergraduates and graduate students and the public, helping them to know that. And I had one mentor pull me aside one time and said, you know, you really are enjoying that and you're doing some great things, but have you ever fully considered the administrative track? Because I was kind of going to go down the endowed chair track and kind of be more focused on teaching and research. And he challenged me to think about where administration would come into that. So after I had a significant career as a professor, I really went down the administrative track into the dean and then the provost and vice president and then to president, and really became committed to helping to change not just toxicology, but universities and the nation.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, you've been provost and vice chancellor and dean of admissions, all these different things. How are you going to use that experience to really, boost the level of, academics here at Ball State?
Well, not the dean of admissions, but the dean of the graduate school. I mean, that's
yes,
a different dean, but still the same concept. You know, when you become president, what you really don't want to do is on-the-job training. I mean, you don't want to become a president and say, how does research work, or how does the provost's office work, or that's really not going to let you get in quickly and understand the challenges that you have and how do you improve it. And so I think those kinds of experiences, whether it be as a faculty member for a number of years, understanding research and graduate studies, or really understanding how the whole academic affairs agenda works and connecting to the outside community, the president who really wants to make the institution better has to understand each of the divisions, not only how it's funded, how we spend our money well and wisely, and how we get that money to students and faculty to move the institution forward. So I think those experiences give you great background, and I would say even more a critical understanding in a short period of time, so you can make change quickly when you need to.
Mm-hmm. And after being at all these different places, how did you end up choosing Ball State University?
Well, I was really enjoying my presidency at the University of Maine. That was my first presidency. The University of Maine is a great land-grant institution, 150 years old. And we had done some significant strategic planning, and it was really going well. And I'd gotten to a point where we were at a real point of decision. Could we continue on to do that, or was there other challenges out there? And that's when I got a call about the Ball State presidency being open, and would you be interested in considering it? And I said, because Ball State has a great reputation. Ball State really is student-centered. My career has been focused on student-centered, community-engaged institutions. How do we help students transform society? That's what the institution of the university is all about, right? So how do we transform students better so that they can lead society? And Ball State has a wonderful reputation of doing that, particularly this entrepreneurial education, like immersive learning, and just what you're doing. I mean, how many students get to do what you're doing? Madeline, who's a freshman, is already doing things that I would say many seniors across the country do not. Phenomenal. And then the role that Ball State has in Indiana as a top-tier institution with Indiana and Purdue, what a great opportunity to come and help this institution continue to be better and to really move it forward. So it was really too good of a deal to pass up, knowing that it was so aligned with how I believed a higher education should be.
You've done a lot of moving around from different universities, and now you've come to Muncie, Indiana, and you get to live in the presidential home. And it's so beautiful. I drive through that neighborhood, and I love
You never
your
stop
house.
by.
No, I'd be a little nervous, but I like to drive by it, and I know you do a lot of hosting there. You recently had Wes Moore, author of the Freshman Reader, and I got to talk to him. Good guy.
Yes.
You have a lot of cool perks. What do you think your favorite thing is about being president, the fun part?
Well, I mean, I think that the fun part really is having access to students and faculty in very organized, structured way. You know, the president gets invited to a lot of stuff, whether they be faculty meetings or student activities or performances. And you also have this incredible opportunity to host a lot of people. So the Wes Moore example that you used, Wes Moore is probably one of the greatest examples of a new generation of leader in America today. So we hosted him at Bracken House with a group of students and faculty, and to be able to participate in that interaction where students could ask him questions and faculty could ask him questions and really see that that's the heart of the university experience, is elevating the conversation, looking at ways to solve society's problems. That's the greatest perk I've got, is being able to be a part of so much energy for change.
So I know you haven't lived in Muncie for very long, but what would you say is your favorite part about Muncie, excluding the students and the campus? Do you have anything?
Well, that's a hard one to compare to. I mean, I live at Ball State University.
Right.
I'm really enjoying exploring a lot of the eating places in Muncie. Concannon's is one of my favorite. You know, I love dessert, which is not a good thing. But so I enjoy exploring the places. I love the river. I love downtown Minnetrista. I'm really enjoying a lot of Muncie. Still exploring a lot of it. Farmers Market is great during the summer, particularly when you have a dog. It's good to walk. And Charlie walks everywhere with my wife. So.
Yeah, let's talk about your dog. I see my friends post pictures of your dog all the time.
Amazing. Yeah. Charlie is a 9-year-old golden retriever who happens to be 120 pounds. He's a big boy. Yeah. He's a big, gentle giant. And it's really amazing that he becomes very popular with the students, as you would expect. And it's really wonderful that when my wife Grace is walking the dog, or we're walking the dog in the neighborhood, he's almost a magnet for community. So if they're walking on campus and students are around, you just have a magnet for students who want to pet the dog, or they miss their own dog and really feel like home. And so that's where your friends have a lot of pictures. Everybody wants a picture, and it goes up on Facebook or Twitter, whatever. And I think the wonderful part is that it is a connection. It's a way for us, the President and First Lady, to connect with a lot of the student body, and we haven't had a chance. So that's the other perk, is being able to connect. And Charlie is just a loving dog, so nobody's afraid of the big golden retriever. And his name was Charlie before he came. Yeah, it wasn't Charlie Cardinal. He was actually named Charlie the golden retriever.
He just happens to be perfect for Ball State.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah, and golden.
So now that David Letterman is retiring, you know that this building that we are in is the David Letterman building. Do you ever think that he'll come back and be a professor one day?
Well, I haven't had the chance to ask him that question. I have sent him a letter, and so we're looking forward to going and meeting him in New York.
Oh,
But I'll pose the question. I'll say if he wants to come back
You
and serve in
should.
a
Yes.
distinguished professorship. We'll try that. What do
be
you think
great.
Dave will say?
I think he'll say no.
You don't
actually
trust
do.
my persuasive skills at
Oh,
all,
I
do
trust
you?
your persuasive
Oh.
skills, but
We'll give it a
he's
shot.
getting old.
Well-
I mean, that's what, I don't know.
We'll give it a
Well,
shot.
we do have a lot of old professors here, so.
Tim, you're going in a bad path. Let's keep it moving. Yeah. No, we'll ask him. We'll see what he thinks.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good question. Now, President Gora, she had this thing that for incoming students, incoming freshmen, they could sign up with her if they got some people together, and she'd go to lunch with them and talk to them and meet with them.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, when are we all going to go out to lunch?
Anytime you make the date. I mean, anytime. But you're not an incoming. You're a senior.
Well, I mean, I think we can bend the rules
Madeline
a
can
little bit.
go, but no.
Bye,
I mean, I
Jimmy.
think that was a great deal. I've heard a lot of students who do it. We have had a wonderful opportunity trying to create some new traditions. So we've had a lot of students over to the house for dinner. That might be a better thing to do.
Yeah.
We've had dinner with the student orientation leaders. A lot of the students who attended the Westmore thing came over. We've had the teams who've won MAC championships over to the house to kind of celebrate it. So we'll do both. We'll, you call up, we set the date, we go to lunch.
All right, sounds
Absolutely,
great.
Absolutely.
Well, one more question here before we go. Just a fun question. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I'd go with 100.
Yeah.
I think I'd get ahead of that pretty quick.
Yeah, I used to be a kicker in high school, so I think I'd do well with that.
Or a runner, kicker or
Yeah,
runner. to get
or a
away
runner.
quicker. Yeah.
Well, hey, this has been great. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on.
I appreciate
It's
you
been
having
really
me.
insightful.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Madeline.
All right, we'll be right back, everyone.